Did you know that you have to make 3 times the amount of rent to get qualified to move into an apartment?
Hey, I'm Alex,
And I'm Philip,
and we teach you what you need to know about being a grown-up.
because adulting shouldn't suck. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the bell so you can get some notifications when we put out some new content, and the comments below, let us know what your biggest worry is about moving out.
In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 times the rent rule and how you can get an apartment if you don't meet the 3 times the rent rule.
If you've been looking at moving out and you've been doing your research, you've probably heard that it's hard to meet the income requirements for getting an apartment. Income requirements can be hard because landlords and property managers follow the 3 times rent rule.
My lip is so bad. All right, so if the landlords are following the 3 times rent rule, this means you have to make 3 times the amount of rent each month for your monthly income. So, for an example, if your rent's $1,000 a month, which is a joke, that's nobody's rent is that anymore. You have to make at least $3,000 a month in order to qualify for the apartment. Now, what if it's $2,000 a month for the apartment? You got to make $6,000 a month.
Ridiculous. What happens if you can't meet that 3 times rent rule? Does this mean that you can't move out until you do? One of the first things that you can do if you don't meet the 3 times rent rule requirements is you can show them that you're otherwise a perfect applicant.
You can do that by showing them your references from previous landlords, by having good credit, by having really low debt to income ratio, or by showing them your bank statements. So if you have a good amount of money saved up, the landlords can be more willing or put at ease, I guess, if you have a safety cushion. And in the event that you are going to be short on rent, at least you have a fat savings to cover it.
Yeah. Another option that you can try is offering a larger security deposit. At times, landlords will accept this if you're not able to meet the 3 times rent rule requirement, and it shows the landlords that you're committed to getting this property. However, in the event that you're short or miss the rent payment altogether, they can use your security deposit to cover rent. But if you don't find a way to repay that security deposit, then you can expect an eviction notice to follow shortly after.
Yeah, no good. You don't want that to happen. Another thing you can do if you don't meet the 3 times rent rule is find an apartment that has all the utilities included in their rent. If you don't have the extra money to spend on internet, power, water, garbage, and all that other stuff, then landlords are going to be more likely to accept you as a tenant if you're not meeting the income requirements, because they understand that a lot of your additional expenses are going to be included in the monthly rent.
Yeah. If none of these options work for you, then you can try getting a cosigner. A cosigner is someone who accepts financial responsibility for you in the event that you don't pay your bills for whatever reason.
For somebody to be accepted as a cosigner, they have to be able to afford all their bills and your bills. If they can't meet that requirement, then they're not going to be approved to be your cosigner.
Nope.
Most places will accept a cosigner, but some places won't because they think that it's too hard to get the money from somebody who doesn't even live there.
This is true. The next option, you can try getting a roommate. The income requirement is a lot easier to meet if you can combine your income with a roommate. If the rent's $1,000 and you're only making $1,500 a month, then you're not going to meet that 3 times rent rule requirement. But if you get a roommate, then that $1,500, that's going to get split down the middle, and together you guys might meet that income requirement.
So be warned, this isn't always the case though. Some landlords are not going to allow you to combine your incomes. They don't want to have a roommate potentially move out and then have one of the tenants not be able to afford the rent because they got left high and dry. So when you're thinking of applying for an apartment, make sure you ask them about their income requirements and if you're allowed to combine income with your roommates, if you don't meet the income requirement by yourself.
Yeah. If you can't find a roommate to move in with you, maybe you can find someone who is renting out a room of their apartment. This is a great way to bypass that 3 times rent rule requirement because you'd be moving in with a person who already has been accepted to live in a place.
I know, I did that in college.
Yeah.
It saved me a lot of money. Lastly, if none of these options work for you, then we suggest that you look into renting from an individual who's renting a property instead of from an apartment complex. These are going to be places like condos, duplexes, triplexes, houses. You can find people who are renting houses on places like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You know, you just have to be a little more crafty in how you go about it.
Just be wary of potential scammers when you're doing something online. Make sure that the place is real and not some Nigerian prince who is wanting to bless you with $10,000 if you give him your bank account information.
There's so much scammy crap,
So much.
especially on Facebook Marketplace right
Yep.
now. All right, well, as a recap, landlords often follow income requirements known as a 3 times the rent rule in order to qualify people to move into their properties. However, if you don't meet the income requirements, there are some things you can do to attempt to get around that. But it might not always work. So ask the questions with the landlords and see if they're even willing to work with you. You know, we always say a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So ask the questions. The worst they can say is no.
Yep. But remember, before you go and try to make deals, make sure that you're asking yourself, is this really a place that I need, or is this a place that I want? Because there is a difference between the two. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. In the comments below, let us know if you're going to get a roommate when you move out or not.
And we'll see you in the next video.